Children explore the world with their hands and their mouths. It is how they learn, how they discover, how they make sense of everything around them. But that beautiful curiosity carries a hidden danger, because in yards, parks, and gardens all across the country, there are plants that can seriously harm a child who simply touches them or tastes a single tempting berry. And the frightening part is how ordinary and harmless these plants look, how easily a little one could reach out to them today, this very afternoon, without anyone realizing the risk. Our job as the grown-ups who love them is to know these dangers so they do not have to learn them the hard way. Today, I am going to walk you through 8 deadly plants your kids could touch today, so you can keep them safe. Now let me be clear and calm about my purpose here, the way a good friend would. This is not about frightening you or keeping children indoors. The outdoors is one of the greatest gifts of childhood, and it should be explored and loved. This is simply about knowledge, because a parent or grandparent who knows these plants can spot them, point them out, and teach the little ones to steer clear, turning a hidden danger into a simple lesson. So let me show you 8 plants that deserve your attention, and a few simple rules that can keep a curious child safe. Some of these harm by touch, others by a single tempting taste, but every one of them can be handled with nothing more than a little knowledge shared at the right time. We begin with poison ivy and its close cousins poison oak and poison sumac, plants that harm not by being eaten, but simply by being touched. Nearly every part of these plants contains an oil that causes an itchy, blistering, miserable rash in most people, and children who brush against them while playing often have no idea until the rash appears. The old saying, "Leaves of 3, let it be," is worth teaching every child, because poison ivy typically grows in clusters of 3 leaflets. If your children play in wooded or overgrown areas, learning to recognize and avoid these plants is one of the most useful lessons you can give them, and washing quickly with soap and water after possible contact can help a great deal. Teaching a child to recognize that simple cluster of 3 leaves is a skill that will protect them on every hike and every backyard adventure for the rest of their life. The second plant is one that deserves genuine alarm: giant hogweed, a towering plant with huge umbrella-like clusters of white flowers that can grow taller than a grown adult. This one is especially dangerous to children because its sap, combined with sunlight, can cause severe burns and blistering of the skin, and getting it in the eyes can even threaten sight. A child drawn to its impressive size and big flowers could be badly hurt just by touching it and then going out to play in the sun. If you ever see this enormous plant, keep children far away from it. Do not touch it yourself, and consider contacting local authorities, as it is treated as a serious hazard in many areas. Its sheer size can make it seem almost magical to a child, like something from a storybook, which is precisely why it demands such firm and clear warnings. Third, we have Jimson weed, a common weed with large trumpet-shaped white or purple flowers and distinctive spiky seed pods, found in fields, roadsides, and disturbed ground almost everywhere. Every part of Jimson weed is highly toxic, and it is especially dangerous because of those intriguing spiky pods full of seeds, which curious children have been harmed by after opening and tasting them. This is a plant that has caused serious poisonings, and it should be treated with great seriousness. If it is growing where your children play, it is wise to remove it carefully, wearing gloves, and to teach the little ones never to open or handle those spiky pods. The intriguing, prickly seed pods are exactly the kind of thing a curious child wants to pick apart and investigate, which makes this ordinary-looking weed far more dangerous than it appears. The fourth danger is pokeweed, a tall, dramatic plant with reddish-purple stems and hanging clusters of dark, glistening purple berries that appear in late summer in yards and fields across much of the country. Those shiny dark berries are exactly the problem, because to a child, they can look just like harmless wild grapes or other fruit, and they are genuinely poisonous, as are the roots and mature plant. Every year, children are drawn to these tempting berries. If pokeweed grows on your property, be aware of it, keep children away from the berries, and teach the firm rule that we never eat any berry from the yard unless a trusted grown-up says it is safe. Those deep purple berries stain little fingers and sidewalks every late summer, an almost irresistible invitation to a child who does not yet know the difference between a treat and a threat. Number 5 is the Jerusalem cherry, a popular houseplant and garden plant that produces cheerful little orange or red berries that look remarkably like tiny cherry tomatoes, which is exactly what makes it so dangerous around children. Despite its innocent, decorative appearance, this plant is toxic, and those bright, tempting berries are especially risky for a small child who might pop one in their mouth thinking it is food. Because it is so often kept indoors as a decorative plant, it can be within easy reach of little hands. If you have one, place it well out of reach. Or better yet, consider keeping it out of a home with young children entirely. The resemblance to a tiny tomato is so strong that even careful parents have been caught off guard, which is all the more reason to know this plant well. The 6th plant is holly, that beloved festive shrub with its glossy, spiky green leaves and bright red berries, so cheerful and so common, especially around the winter holidays. But those pretty red berries are toxic if eaten, and because they appear at a time of year when homes are full of visiting children and holiday excitement, they pose a real seasonal danger. A child attracted to the bright red berries could easily be harmed. Enjoy holly's festive beauty, but keep both the cut sprigs indoors and the growing shrubs outdoors, well away from where little ones might gather and taste those tempting berries. The danger rises at exactly the time of year when homes fill with excited, visiting children and watchful eyes are stretched thin by the bustle of the season. Number 7 is mistletoe, another plant deeply tied to the winter holidays, hung in doorways for a kiss, yet carrying a genuine danger in its small white berries. Those berries, along with the leaves, are toxic if eaten, and the trouble is that mistletoe is often hung right at a height where curious children can reach it, and berries can drop to the floor where a crawling baby might find them. It is a lovely tradition, but a hazardous plant to have low and within reach of the very young. If you decorate with it, use it with great care, keep it high and secure, and pick up any fallen berries at once. It is a case where a cherished tradition and a real hazard hang, quite literally, in the very same doorway. And finally, the 8th bittersweet nightshade, a climbing vine often found scrambling over fences, walls, and shrubs, bearing small purple flowers, followed by clusters of bright, shiny red berries. Those glossy red berries are dangerously appealing to children and are genuinely toxic, as is the rest of the plant. Because this vine grows wild in so many yards and along so many fences, twining up where children play, it is a common and often overlooked hazard. Learn to recognize its distinctive flowers and berries, remove it where your children play if you can, and teach the little ones firmly to leave those tempting red berries well alone. Now let me speak straight to your heart, parent to parent, grandparent to grandparent. There are few fears greater than the thought of harm coming to a child in our care, and it can be tempting to feel anxious about every leaf and berry in the world. But please hear me, because the answer is not fear, it is knowledge, calmly held and gently shared. Teach the children you love one simple, powerful rule that has protected families for generations, that we never, ever put any plant, leaf, flower, or berry into our mouths, and we never touch a strange plant, unless a trusted grown-up has said that it is safe. Taught early, repeated often, and made into a normal part of playing outside, that single habit has prevented more heartbreak than we could ever count. Knowledge shared with love is the very best protection there is. But honesty and care require that I say this very plainly. If you ever suspect that a child has eaten any part of a poisonous plant, or has a serious reaction after touching one, do not wait to see what happens. Contact your local poison control center or emergency services immediately, and if you can, take a piece of the plant along so it can be quickly identified. Do not rely on home remedies for a serious poisoning.